Ba, ba, da, ba, ba, ba. And we're back, the Vinyl Vandals. Although we're not back, I am back. I'm the only Vinyl Vandal that's here today. The other three are missing in action, so you just have to put up with yours truly tonight. And I have a guest here who goes by the name of
SystemATA.
Right, thank you, SystemATA, for agreeing to do this. We are going to be doing a favorite five. Last week it was a special favorite five because it was my nephew Ruben J. Green, and he wasn't really talking about hip hop. He was just talking about music in general that's influenced him and how his family have influenced him. So we're back on the hip hop track this week. SystemATA, do you want to say which side of the pond you've picked? Is it UK or USA?
I've done USA to start with.
Yeah. Okay, nice one. I like that attitude as well to start with, so we'll definitely have you back doing your UK one. So start thinking about that now, but thanks for agreeing to do this. I've met you at a couple of gigs. Always nice to, obviously, like yourself, like the Vinyl Vandals, we like to get ourselves around the country and go to different parts to see gigs, and you're the same. That's good. Okay, enough me talking on. Let's get straight into your first choice. Before we do though, you've said you're going USA. Have you got a hierarchy? Have you got a hierarchy of albums, or is it just as they come?
Well, I think the first four are probably in that same era.
Right.
The thing for me is when I first started listening to hip hop, I was metalhead.
Right.
I was first and foremost into the heaviest music you could possibly imagine.
Okay.
I was listening to the likes of Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer, Megadeth, and all that when they first started in the early 80s.
Okay.
And then by the mid 80s, I was listening to grindcore. I was listening to the likes of Napalm Death, the Gaffer Cleese, Fear of God, just pure noise basically.
Yeah.
And a mate of mine, I used to see him at the pub, and I used to walk around with my Walkman when I was going from place to place, and he'd be like, "Oh, just check this out, just check this out." And one of the first things that I remember him playing me was Dope Beat by BDP, and it sampled AC/DC.
Yeah.
And because of that sort of like rock metal connection, I started doing my own investigating, and he was like playing me more and more. And in time, it's like I've switched completely from listening to metal to hip hop and nothing else but hip hop. So I'll go with my first album of Public Enemy.
Okay.
Your Blood Was the Show.
Nice start.
What grabbed me about this album was just the absolute attitude of it, and it has got that rock sensibility, metal sensibility in the production, and it's got people involved like Vernon Reid from Living Colour playing guitar on Sophisticated Bitch. But the first track, I mean, it's just an absolute classic. You're going to get yours.
Okay, nice one. So with that album, was that one of your gateways in? Was that one of your first albums that you got on the hip hop vibe?
I think so. Yeah, I think from memory, it was this one, and I think the BDP one, the Criminal Minded, I did pick that up around the same time as well.
Right. Okay.
This one for me was one of the sort of like foundations of me getting into the hip hop music, and you know, it's something that I've concentrated on ever since.
So you've said BDP and PE, which to me, you know, is somebody who's jumped straight from metal, into that. It's to me, I don't know if I'm right or wrong here, but to me, it feels like a massive departure from one music to another music. Not, I understand what you're saying about the heavy side, but I mean the sort of subject matter, the very pro-black, very, you know, obviously vehemently anti-racist, as in, you know, like fighting the system in racist oppression. So to me, that's very different to sort of like that sort of metal, let's thrash, let's headbang. So do you want to
well, there was another artist as well, actually, that we'll come to again in a bit, Ice-T. And Ice-T, he's got that metal attitude, and it's shown later on when he formed Body Count. But when you listen to his first 3-4 albums, it's littered with Black Sabbath samples.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. I suppose. But so as you would recognize them, I don't know how old you are, but I went to school with lots of like what we used to call hippies, Harrys when I was at school. All the lads, like lads, older lads above me, like more my brother's age, like 4 or 5 years above me, were well into it. And then some of the lads in my year, denim jackets, leather motorbike jackets, and loads of patches on the haversacks. That's how far I'm going back. Before rucksacks, it was haversacks. Yeah,
that was me. That was me.
Yeah.
I'll have to dig it out for you, Fred. But there's a photo of me. There's a photo of me stood outside Volume Records in Newcastle.
Yeah.
With a guy called oh God, what's his name? Sean Voorhees.
Right.
He's still an active guitar player in a band called Voorhees, and tied up. And we was going to see Slayer, and that was I think 86, 87.
Wow.
So I was only like 16, 17 at the time.
Okay, nice one. Yeah, just my gateway with that was before, because I'm like you, before hip hop, I was listening to other music. I was listening to punk and reggae. Do you know what I mean? But to me, it seemed like a natural progression, because the punk I was listening to was people like The Clash, who were already starting to talk about sort of like political issues, and then obviously reggae was also talking about, the reggae I was listening to was all the roots reggae and the political stuff there. So it wasn't too much for me. It didn't feel like that much of a departure to leave that sort of sound. Not that I left it, because I still like The Clash and I still like my reggae. So obviously start picking up the vibe of the hip hop. You know what I mean? But originally the hip hop I was listening to wasn't really talking about political stuff. It was more party stuff, wasn't it? Like the first sort of rap music I was first getting to listen to.
Well, you mentioned the punk. I mean, punk was also part of the mix for me. I was listening to the Misfits. I was listening to The Clash, and I was listening to a lot of underground UK stuff like Amabix and Napalm Death. I mean, Napalm Death before they were like super fast and super heavy. The electro hippies, Deviated Instinct, Discharge. I mean, Discharge. Discharge.
Yes, I used to. As they got a lot of those bands like Discharge, GBH, as they got better, they started getting into being more rock bands, didn't they? You know what I mean?
They did. Because there was GBH went kind of crossover.
Yeah.
You had English Dogs. They went crossover.
Yeah.
So it's like even though I was like listening to all the real heavy stuff.
Yeah.
I had that like punk attitude as well. I love the punk attitude. And I think that helped me with my transition into hip hop as well.
Okay, interesting. Leather bristles, studs and acne. I've still got that somewhere. And what was the other song I used to like? That was GBH. I had a song by Discharge I used to love playing. Decontrol.
Protest and Survive was a song for me.
Okay, right. Interesting. Okay then. Let's go to your second album then. Oh, did you pick your favorite song off there? Did I miss that? Your favorites?
My favorite song, I think it's probably going to be "You're Gonna Get Yours," just because of the fact it's the opening salvo of the album.
Yeah.
And I love the beats, the soundtrack, the lyrics. The lyrics is just attitude.
Yeah.
To the side, I know you hate my 98. You're gonna get yours.
Yeah.
It's just all about driving around in the car and giving it to everybody. You can't touch us.
Yeah. It's funny because actually when I first heard it, I think I've said it before on recording, but I didn't really like it. I didn't really get it. I was like, what's this? But then also, as someone trying to fathom out the lyrics, I didn't understand what they were even talking about. Like, what's your 98? Do you know what I mean?
The Oldsmobile.
Yeah, I was like, what's that? What's an Oldsmobile? I had to really, it wasn't like you couldn't just go on your phone and Google it. I had to really research and find out what the hell is he talking about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And try and really work it out and keep asking my cousins and stuff, what's this about? What's he talking about? Yeah. Nice one. Okay. Next album.
Oh, I think we'll go with the classic Beastie Boys, License to Ill.
License to Ill. Okay.
And again, this was part of my transition from metal to hip hop.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was on the Def Jam label. Around the time of this album, Rick Rubin had signed Slayer.
Slayer, yeah.
To Def Jam, and we were recording the album Rain in Blood.
Right.
And that album to me is like the pinnacle of Slayer. It is my favorite Slayer album.
Okay.
When they were recording License to Ill, Kerry King was involved. He did some guitar work on the album.
Okay, who's that? Who's that?
Kerry King. Kerry King.
Yeah, who is that?
From Slayer.
From Slayer.
From Slayer.
And right, okay.
He features on this album.
Okay.
And he also features in, I think it was No Sleep Till Brooklyn video.
Okay.
It's either that one or Fight for Your Right to Party.
Party.
I know there was like a lot of metalheads in the Fight for Your Right to Party video, but I'm sure he was, when they played the guitar solo in No Sleep Till Brooklyn, he was in that.
Okay, nice one. All right, it's a funny one. When they first come out, I just thought it was a bit of a novelty. Do you know what I mean? And I actually first heard them on a floppy disk of all things, on a free magazine floppy disk. I think they were doing that Run DMC song. Is it Slow and Low?
Yeah.
I think they were doing the Run DMC. Yeah. And I was like, oh, what's this? I thought, well, I need to check these out. And then obviously, then I saw the videos, because you didn't really, I will say this, but you didn't really, again, there wasn't all of the sort of exposure like there is now. You had to really hunt your stuff out until Hip Hop Connection came along. And then you started seeing like what people look like and stuff. Then I saw the video, like Fight for Your Right to Party and that, and I heard all of that. And I just thought, these are just having a laugh. These, like, they're rapping over like sort of like rock beats, and they're just having a laugh. Little did I know that we're going to go on to what they did with being one of the most influential hip hop acts ever. But at the time, that that album and all of the and seeing them live, I saw them live in Brixton, dancing around with strippers on stage and just totally like just taking the pee. And like, to me it was like, it's not really properly hip hop. It's alright for a laugh. And I had the cassette, the original License to Ill I had on cassette. I used to have a blaster, and I used to have that cassette, and I got Run DMC's Raising Hell. They were the two cassettes. I used to just play them back to back, like play one, play the other, play one, play the other. When I used to train, and they were like me ones I used to skip to and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And that was like basically with my girlfriend at the time. She got me to get the blaster, and that's all I used to play. But I never used to really take them that seriously, you know what I mean? And I was never like a massive fan of the Beasties. I then went on to all that stuff, but at the time, that tape got played a lot. So yeah, License to Ill. What's your favourite track off there, then?
Oh, God, my favourite track. I think it's got to be No Sleep Till Brooklyn. But then again, Ramming and Stealing's very close, because when I first heard the album, and that beat kicked in, which is Led Zeppelin. It just blew me away. It just blew me away how they used it.
Interesting.
But I love the guitaring on No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
Trying to think what my favourite track would be off there. Maybe's Paul Revere.
Yeah.
Maybe's. Yeah.
But just winding it back with Beastie Boys as well, when I was in my sort of like heavy metal, punk phase, whatever, I used to do tape trading.
Do what?
And I'd actually heard the Beastie Boys.
Tape trading?
Tape trading. Before the days you could fly MP3s around the internet, you used to have contacts here, there and everywhere, and you could send tapes to them. And you used to pick these up in magazines. I used to read magazines like Metal Forces and Kerrang and what have you. And you'd hook up with people from all over the world. It's like I used to trade with guys in Finland, the States, Italy, just all over the shop, Australia.
Wow.
And I remember getting Beastie Boys when they were a punk band. They did an EP called Pollywog Stew.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember hearing them before they went hip hop.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Was that the song? Did they have a song called Cookie Puss on there or something as well?
Yeah, Cookie Puss was on there.
Yeah. Okay, nice one.
And also when they first started, there was a girl in the band.
Yeah, yeah. I saw the documentary about it. Yeah, talking about how they treated her and that. Yeah, yeah.
I love
it was really good.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'll watch a documentary about a band that I don't even like. I just find it interesting, sort of like like how they formed, the pitfalls, all the ups and downs. Yeah, I'll watch any sort of music documentary. I think I'm in. You know what I mean? Even the cheesy ones. You know what I mean? Like the dramatization ones.
Yeah.
People will say, "Oh, it's terrible." Yeah, it is terrible. I still like watching them. I don't know. I'm just sucker for a bad film, really. As you'll know if you've ever watched the Tupac one or the Notorious B.I.G. one, both shocking, but I still watch them. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to go back in time?
Yeah.
I know you already sort of have, but can you start talking a little bit about so? Can you tell us where you're from first of all, where you grew up?
Well, I live in East Yorkshire. I'm in a town called Market Wheaton, which is halfway between York and Hull.
Right.
But going back, I lived in Home on Spalding Moor, which is like the next village along, and I lived there for like the best part of the early 20 years of my life.
Yeah.
Despite the fact I was born right on the south coast, I was born in Weymouth.
Okay.
And grew up in Home on Spalding Moor, went to the local school here in Market Wheaton.
Yeah.
And then
it's hardly known for its hip hop culture.
No. Well, there's just me.
Right.
Well, what it was there was me and my mate Nick, who lives in Pocklington, or he lived in Pocklington. He lives in York now.
Yeah.
And he's the guy that used to come through to Home on Spalding Moor, and he was playing me all the sort of like BDP and playing me loads of stuff. I mean, he introduced me to loads of stuff.
Okay.
And there was just us two, and I got working in Hull later on in life and met some guys in Hull that I formed a crew with.
Yeah.
We did a couple of demo tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Went by the name of Puma, Pure Uncut Mic Action.
Love it.
Yeah. It was proper golden era. I mean, this is going back to about 93 time, 93, 94. I did a demo with Jamie, Mr. J, who was part of the crew. But Steve Arnott, Red Eye, he's the guy who did the Beats Bus in Hull.
Right.
So he was in that crew to start with, and then he went on to be in a crew called Project Phoenix.
Right.
So yeah, that was my sort of like hip hop involvement with Hull. Like I said, I did a couple of demo tapes. Used to go to a lot of shows in Hull. Seen some great shows in Hull over the years. There's like Gunshot.
Yeah.
The best one was the Roots.
Wow.
The Roots.
In Hull.
The Roots. In Hull, yeah, they played the Blue Lamp.
Right. Nice one.
Their UK tour was London. I think they played the Jazz Cafe somewhere in London, and then they played the Blue Lamp in Hull. And this was just on the days of them blowing up large on MTV. On MTV Raps, playing Proceed. So I got to meet Buller Question, and met the whole crew. Got my album signed. Brilliant night.
Brilliant. That sounds absolutely brilliant. Yeah. We always complain in Newcastle. It's always that you'll see on the road map of the tour. You'll see Bristol. You'll see London. In the moment, there was 3 dates in London, 2 or 3 dates in London. Then you'll see like I said, Bristol, London. Then you'll see Birmingham. Yeah, somewhere like around there. You'll see Manchester. You might see somewhere in Yorkshire like Leeds. Yeah. But it's normally Leeds or Manchester. Yeah, but you might see Liverpool back in the day, and then Frog March from there, leapfrog, over Newcastle. Then you'll see Edinburgh or Glasgow. Do you know what I mean? It's like they always just bypassed us. There's no hip hop fans in Newcastle, so they just didn't come. I don't blame them, to be fair, because when somebody has died to come into Newcastle, no one ever turns up anyway. And there's loads of hip hop heads, but they don't go. because everybody in Newcastle either raps or DJs. So
All right.
they're doing good. They're doing good to shows, you know. Which is a funny one.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
So yeah, going back to my youth again, living in home on Spalding Moor.
Yeah.
And this was before I could drive. There was only one city I could get to on my own, and that was to York.
Yeah.
Now, York had some brilliant record shops back in the day.
Okay.
To start with, it was Red Rhino.
Okay.
I used to get all my metal and that from Red Rhino, and then when I got into hip hop, I could get all my hip hop there.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Red Rhino went, they set up a new shop on Gillygate, I think it was, called Depth Charge.
Yeah.
So I used to spend most of my Saturdays at Depth Charge, just digging in the crates, just going through
Was that the online shop as well, Depth Charge?
Yeah, I think they did online orders as well.
Yeah.
But
I think they used to be advertised on magazines.
Yeah, I used to spend most of my Saturdays there.
Okay.
And then there was a couple of other shops in town as well, and plus there was quite a few second-hand shops as well. So it's like when I started getting into wanting to make my own music and search for samples, there was that there as well.
Okay. Okay, leave it there. We'll come back to you making music. So we'll leave that there and we'll come to your next album.
Next album. Oh, I think we'll go with the Magnetic MCs.
Well, I think, you know, in the history of favorite fives, this has probably got the most nods out of any other album, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think by the time this had come out, I'd kind of made the switch, and the production on this is just, to me, it's just so raw. What Paul C did with it was just fantastic. The use of samples, the lyrics were just crazy. I mean, what Cool Keith was coming out with then was just nuts. And I don't think there's a bad track on there.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, well documented. It's not, you know, I've had the album, got the album. I never rave on about it. It's not a dislike or anything like that, but I just don't love it as much as all you lot seem to love it.
Right.
It's just interesting when I don't think people mention them that often. It's been picked nearly a lot. So, you know, like with all these favorite fives, and when I speak to people, but it never used to really come up as be mentioned until I started doing the favorite fives. Until we started doing the favorite fives, and then everybody was always saying, "Oh, you had to be top five. Oh, you had to be top five." I was like, that's funny because it never used to. I'd never hear it get mentioned that much in conversations. Do you know what I mean? But it gets mentioned a lot, especially with people who make music. I think that's the key bit as well. People that make music really rate it.
The thing is, with this album, I think I've learned quite a bit and tried to incorporate some elements into what I do. I mean, I think what I do is a million miles away from this anyway. I mean, this is a lot more simplistic.
Yeah.
But it's just the way that they piece the samples together, basically.
Yeah.
And the drum beats. I mean, the drum beats are just so hot on this as well.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, just getting onto the favourite track. I mean, I'm jumping the gun here, but Give the Drummer Some. I mean, that's my favourite track on the album.
Okay. Yeah. Good track. It's a good track. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Nice one. Okay. So do you have many other albums by them as well, then, or just that one?
I've got them all.
Got them all. Okay. You're definitely a fan. Definitely a fan then.
I love them all, but this one, this is the one that it's my go-to.
Right.
As much as I love the Four Horsemen, because the Four Horsemen's just as mad an album.
Yeah.
The other albums are great too, but this for me, this is the one. If I was on a desert island, this would be with me. This would be one of my desert island discs.
I should hope so, with it being in your top five.
In fact, I've still got the hype sticker on this one, which says one of the 20 best rap albums of all time, and that's The Source.
Yeah. Can I argue? Well, you can't argue with them because they got paid to say some stuff, but I don't think you can argue with that one, to be fair.
No. I don't think so.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I think people took it wrong in the past. I'm not slagging the album off. I'm not saying it's rubbish. I've got it on vinyl and I've got it on CD, but it's just not, it's not like I don't like gush over it as much as other people do. But so, yeah, which is, you know, it's great. It's horses for courses. That's what this is all about.
Another thing with this album is that the number of people it's influenced who aren't hip hop. I mean, you only have to look at the likes of the Prodigy.
Prodigy, yeah.
They take one line and make a hit out of it, you know.
Yeah. But at the same time, you say they're not hip hop, but they were hip hop. That's where they went from.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the whole story, isn't it? That they went to a Public Enemy gig and got picked on and then left.
Yeah.
Yeah, and went on to form the Prodigy after that. But
yeah.
I mean, even some of the they rap, don't they, in some of the songs on the albums.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What's the album that I've got? Well, I've got a couple of their albums, but the album that I mainly play is the Fat of the Land one with the crab on the front? Yeah.
Fat of the Land, yeah.
There's like that song Diesel Power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a dropping out that.
Yeah, yeah.
Really nice yeah. That as well.
I mean, to me, it's just pure like hip hop, innit? It's pure rap, innit? It's not like the rave thing, is it? It's and a couple of other songs on there, I would say is the same thing. You know, you can see the definitely hip hop influence there. You know.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, Mr. Music Making Man. What stuff have you made? Have you made anything for anybody? How far does your music making go?
Well, I've been making stuff, like I said, since about 92, 93 time, seriously. But I went through a period of about 10 years where I was really struggling, and that was just down to my setup.
Yeah.
Because I originally started using just a PC with Cubase, and Cubase at the time didn't have all the features that you get nowadays. It's like I was trying to set up samples in sound fonts and what have you, and it was just such a painstaking job. It'd take me like 2 weeks to put a beat together.
Right.
But these days, I mean, I've completely upgraded my studio, and I can knock out some decent stuff within, a good day or so.
Yeah.
But release-wise, I've done a couple of remixes for the Show and Prove label. There's Merlin and Ice-Ski.
Yeah.
So I've done a couple of remixes for them.
Nice one.
I did my own album, which I put out back end of last year. I'm working on some new stuff now, actually.
Okay. So when you say you put your own album out, is it instrumentals or do you rap on it?
It's instrumentals, yeah. I mean, the problem I've got is I'm in the middle of nowhere, and obviously, we've had lockdown for the past year, and there's not many people I know who I can give beats to and say, oh, rap on it and send me back your vocals.
Yeah.
And I'll mix it and we'll get something out there. I mean, just case in point, I started an album with Graphic Bars about 2.5 years ago. And at the moment, that's currently with a mastering studio. And the album sounds great to me, but it's just getting it to that next level.
Okay.
And Sam's kind of financed that. So I'm sat in Sam's hand at the moment. And I'm just hoping that we can get it out this year. Because when I was last up in Newcastle for the bridge, I was playing snippets of it to people, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, this is good. We really like this. When's it coming out?" And I'm like, "Oh, I was hoping it was going to be then." But there is a couple of videos up on YouTube. Actually, we've got a couple of tracks out. There was one where I'd done the beats for it, called Sidewalks and Pavements.
Yeah.
And then we've got a guy in Switzerland called Silas, and he did the beat for the other track called Cinematic.
Yeah.
And we had positive feedback on both tracks, but it's just getting that rest of the album together and getting it out. But obviously, we want it to be as good as we can get it.
Yeah.
So,
and you want some quality rappers on there as well, and yeah.
Yeah, well, Sam's a really good rapper.
Right.
I like him. He's his wordplay is nice. His lyrics is
Where's he from?
He's from Brighton.
Okay.
So he's got some nice, deep, thoughtful lyrics on there. So it's just him, and I've done the majority of the beats. Silas done some of the beats, and then I did all the mixing and mastering. But
so what's the collective called then?
Pardon?
Have you got a collective name for that then?
No, it's just going under the name of Graphic Bars.
Graphic Bars.
Graphic Bars, but it's just a case of watch this space at the moment.
Okay. When you're ready to come out, bring it out. Definitely come back on here and bring your guys with you to have a chat about it.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Yeah. Well,
Nice one.
I've just put an EP out today as well. My mate Nick in York, the guy who got me into hip hop, well, like me, he's into all the old stuff.
Yeah.
He's into tech as well. I mean, we're both tech heads.
Okay.
And before lockdown, I used to go up to his place and we used to sit there full weekend doing beats, chatting, chilling, few beers. And we've made some really good beats, to be fair. So I've just put the first EP up on Bandcamp today.
Yeah.
And that's under the name of Silverback Beats.
Okay.
So that's all one word, and it's SILVA, Silverback Beats, beats with a Z.
Champion.
And that's
okay.
silverbackbeats.bandcamp.com. And the EP is called Transcending Darkness.
Right.
So, judging from the title, it's quite dark and moody for the four tracks.
Well, when I post this up, this will be out next week. And when I post this up, I'll get you all the details and I'll put that in the description. Yeah. So I can send people your way. You know what I mean? And people can go and check your music out on YouTube, and that we'll get all of the sort of details like that.
Cool.
We'll get that on there so people can get in contact with you and also listen to your stuff. Yeah. Nice one. Okay. Like I say, we'll have you back on. We'll have you back on, and we're gonna have a chat with you about your album and the making process behind it, and get your guys on as well. Your guys that you do it with. You know.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I'm actually working. Well, I've just about finished another album.
Wow.
I've been working with a guy from Brighton called Invokal, and I've been working with him for about 6 or 7 years now.
Okay.
And when we first got together, I was kind of like doing some jazzy hip hop type stuff, along the lines of Lewis Parker and whatnot. And then over time, as my production and my beat making's got better, we put an EP out, and now he's like, I don't want to do hip hop anymore. I want to do metal. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we've done a metal album, and the metal album's coming out in the next few weeks.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I've done all the music on that, and he's done all the vocals, and he's found some samples that I've dropped in here, there, and everywhere.
Okay.
We've got a guy called Asbest the Mo King, who originally came on board to do a rap, and he's done the rap, but the original track we've taken from a hip hop track and made it metal. It's gone from like a boom bap to Slipknot.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So hopefully that's going to be out in the next few weeks as well.
Okay, I'll have a listen to that just from curiosity. Not that I'm a metalhead or anything, but just out of curiosity, I'll check it out.
It's a weird one because even though it's prominently guitar based, and I've been making hip hop beats for all these years now. I mean, I love my metal. I've got back into loving metal again. And I mean, when I was young, I was in a couple of like little bands as well that we didn't really do anything with. We just rehearsed and didn't even get any gigs or out. So I was like playing guitar in that, and I used to get on the drums and think I could play drums. I've tried playing drums and I've not practiced enough. I think I can keep rhythm, you know. So I've done all the drums on this, and I've done like the double kicks like you normally get on the thrash metal stuff.
Yeah.
And program some real heavy guitars in there. But I mean, there's some of the music it's a bit punky. There's a bit of hip hop in there with some like pads and stuff going off. So it's a nice mishmash. Nice.
Okay. Let's get into your next album.
Right. Next album then is Ice-T, The Iceberg, Freedom of Speech. Just watch what you say.
Nice one. I have that album. So would you say that's his best album then, yeah?
I think so, yeah. As much as I love Rhyme Pays, as much as I love Power, Original Gangster, this album just blows me away every time I listen to it. From the Shut Up Be Happy with the Black Sabbath samples at the beginning, with Jello Biafra.
The Shut Up Be Happy is a tremendous opening track. Yeah.
Yeah. And to have that guy as well, Jello
Jello
from
Biafra out of Dead Kennedys, yeah.
And then you get into the Iceberg, and it's like, okay, he's doing his smooth bit, but then you get to Lethal Weapon, and it's like, wow. and one of the things that drew me to a lot of the hip hop from around this time was the up tempo stuff, like Britcore.
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, Lethal Weapon's like a perfect Britcore track.
Yeah. No, it's a tremendous album. It's my favourite Ice-T album, no doubt. Rhyme Pays was all right. Power was the first album I got by him. That was the first Ice-T album I got, which I thought was good. So Power made me then get Iceberg, and I was like, this is absolutely amazing. And I like Home Invasion. I like Original Gangster, but I don't think it's a patch on Iceberg. Like, I think Iceberg's my favourite by him. You know?
Yeah, this one, I mean, it's the production on it, the songs, the attitude again.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that metal type thing on there. The Girl Tried to Kill Me. Oh my days! Story that is. And then he ends that side going into Black and Decker. So obviously, listen to the likes of, you know.
I wonder what it sounds like.
Yeah. So it's like, to me, that's the same, because like I was listening to these grindcore bands, and they're sort of like singing about, growling about stuff which is far nastier than this. But you know, it's
Remind me again, has that got the Let's Get Buck Naked one there as well, has it?
No.
Which album's that?
No, that's on Power.
That's on Power, is it? Okay.
That's on Power, that one, yeah.
Right. Okay, nice one. Okay, so
I mean, you work your way through this album, and you've got quite a lot of darkness. Peel the Caps Back.
Yeah.
That is such a heavy track.
Yeah.
Hit the deck, you're back in your face again with that attitude, up tempo. This one's for me, he's like, it's that funky stuff that he does real well. In fact, we've missed the classic track on here altogether. You Played Yourself.
You played
James Brown sample.
Yeah.
Quality lyrics.
Yeah, it's a quality album. It's a quality album. I can't argue with that. And I think to me, it's when he was really his height. I know a lot of people like the body count stuff and all that, but I'm not a rocker dude. So it passed me by. I was never really into all of that. I know some people like yourself probably liked it. Like the body count stuff and that. With the rock side and that, but it never appealed to me. And I think by the time he got the Home Invasion, he was on his way out for me as well. It was like, I stopped sort of like liking him as much after that, you know what I mean? I thought Home Invasion was his sort of last really nice. But you always got to remember, he was a canny age, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
He's 60 odd now, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was his birthday, not so. Was it this week?
This week or last week, yeah, it might have been. Yeah. I think is he about 65 or something now?
Yes, I think it was. Did I say he was 63? I think he's 63.
Is he 63? I thought he was older.
63,
right, but I mean, in hip hop terms, that's still quite old, really, isn't it? When you think some of the other guys, like now, because they just come, a lot of them are just come up to 50 now, aren't they? So you know, he had like nearly 15 years on some of them, 13 years, 12 years on a lot of these numbers. Anyway, you know what I mean? So he was quite an age when you think about in that regard. But hey, can't argue with that. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's one of them now. When I look at him, I just think, like in them shows that he's in, which are just absolute trash. I just think Ice. There's all these shows you could have been in, and you're in these sort of like blooming soap opera detective shows. I don't know what they're called.
I think the last decent thing I probably saw him in was was that film he did with Ice Cube?
Oh, did you think it was good? Trespass, yeah, but it had two names. It had one in America and one in I think they were different names. Looters, yes, that's right.
Looters, and Trespass over here.
Yeah, they changed it because of the looting that was going on after the Rodney King LA riots thing. I think that's why they changed it. I thought it was terrible, to be fair, but each to their own.
It's one of those cheesy films. I mean, I'll tell you what. This week I've been going through my Steven Seagal selection. It's like
Mark for death. You can't get wrong with Mark for death, man.
To kill Mark for death.
Screwface.
Yeah, sure, please, but man, I love that stuff.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so what did you see your favorite song off that album? Sorry, I'll get caught into the John's not here to keep us right.
Oh, you know what? Hunted Child. What are you gonna do?
I would agree with it. That's probably yeah. It's a good track. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one.
Okay. Okay. How do you feel about Ice-T and these all of this, like, they've all gone this reality route in the Ice-T and Coco and all of that. I just think,
Well, I kind of stay away from all that reality TV stuff these days, so I rarely see him. I think the only time I've seen him lately is when he's been doing interviews about hip hop music and whatnot. I think, in fact, the last time I saw him was doing a Body Count video where Body Count had done a cover version of an old Suicidal Tendencies song.
Yeah.
But as much as I love the Suicidal song, I don't think Ice has really done it justice. I know he's tried to update the content of the lyrics to modern age, but he's I think he's too old to be doing that.
Yeah, that's basically what my point was before when I was saying about him being a bit older, because it starts showing, when you start to try and say certain things and you think, hang on a second, it's a bit, he's 63, by the way. Yeah, you're right, he's 63.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like he still has his little moments of quality when he gets stuck up with DJ Supreme and they're doing Arctic.
I didn't like it.
Oh, I loved it.
I didn't really like his bit. I didn't really. I wasn't really feeling it. Each to their own.
Horses for courses, mate. Horses for courses. I liked it.
Horses for courses. Just, I don't know if it's just I look at him and I just think, mate, you're done. You move aside. I don't know if it's that. I don't know. I think because hip hop lyrics as well. I think like in other genres, people can get away with it a bit, but I think in certain genres, when you're still trying to say some of the sort of stuff, it just feels a bit. I don't know.
I don't know. I thought it came over quite well, to be fair.
Nah, didn't. Well, I wasn't feeling it anyway. But obviously, that's just me. I get slagged off all the time because I don't like what everybody else likes, but I am just me, and that's the way it is. So, okay.
It'd be a boring world if everybody liked the same thing.
This is very true, but it seems everybody does like the same thing in the hip hop world, Barmy.
Well, like I said, I mean, coming on this show, I mean, I could have picked a load of different artists. I'd rather have done a top 10, and I'd rather have picked a load of different artists. But when you narrow it down to 5,
yes,
and talking like me, and you're talking about music that actually sort of like transported you into that hip hop journey, and they're the ones that stick with you. They're the ones that put you in that place, and they're the ones which inevitably are my top 5, and I can't steer away from that.
Yeah, without a doubt, totally agree with you. I think you've got to. It is very easy just to go to the comfort, because I think there is certain albums, and I'm not having to go to anybody. There is certain albums that do strike a chord with, say, like 80-odd, 90-odd% of the sort of UK public who like hip hop. Yeah, so there's nearly always a critical beatdown's always there. Yeah, or thereabouts. Who else is there? There's always a Tribe album in there somewhere.
This guy, Ice Cube, first album, absolute bomb, brilliant.
Yeah, without a doubt. It nearly made mine. I was humming and hawing whether to put it in or not, but it's like, who do I take out? That's the trouble. Like, if on another day that might have made it. Do you know what I mean?
And then, like I said, I mean, there's Souls of Mischief. I could have put 93 Till Infinity in there.
Yeah.
There's an American producer at the moment who I absolutely adore called L'Orange. And stuff that he's putting out is just nuts. I mean, the production is just out of this world. It's out of the box. It's completely different to what everybody else is doing. Apollo Brown, I mean, the stuff he does as well. I mean, he did an album with OC, which I adore. He did one with Guilty Simpson, and Guilty Simpson I'm not really a big fan of, but I love that album. It's,
Okay. You'll have to send us a little list, because I think the thing I struggle with at the moment is new stuff. I don't want to just be the old granddad who just always guns on about the war, but I invariably do, because I try to listen to some of these new artists, and even the ones that I think are the best of the lot.
Yeah.
They're still not a patch on what I used to listen to, and that's. And I don't want to be like that. I want to still try and be buying new stuff because I want to get excited about it. But Kenrick's good, but he's just, to me, he's just nowhere near as good as the stuff that I've got.
My lads bought some of his stuff, and some of the other new artists. I can't remember the names. Sweatshop Earl.
Don't know who that is. I've heard the name, but I don't know anything about them.
I can't remember his name. Yeah, there's a lot of new artists out there that he's listening to. In fact, he's into quite a lot of the UK stuff, like CL Brooks and Cult of the Damned.
Never heard of them.
Oh, mate, they are good. Lee Scott fronted. There's Black Josh. Oh, mate, yeah.
I've heard the name Black Josh, but I don't know. The people that keep me sort of like listening, Riddler always seems to tell us what's going on like in UK stuff, but I don't really, it doesn't grab us. Like, I mean, hats off to Riddler. Riddler loves it, and Riddler champions it all the time. And I do listen to it. It doesn't grab us though. Like that makes us want to get it and buy it and play it in my car, because that's my litmus test. I'm in my car a lot, going backwards and forwards and work stuck in traffic jams, so that's why I listen to my tunes a lot. And I go for walks a lot at the moment, so it's my exercise because I can't get the gym. And yes, I'll listen to an album, but I've tried Joey Badass, I've tried Kenrick, tried a couple of Joey Badass. I think one or two albums I've listened to, but I would have to probably have a compilation album of his stuff because I don't like all of it. Same for the for what do you call him, what do you call him, Kenrick. Some stuff I like, other stuff I'm just like, because it starts sort of veering towards trap to me. It starts sounding like a bit like, that kind of like double fast talking mumbling. But like you say, each to their own. Let the youngins have what they want to have, and that's fine. I still find it interesting to hear what the youngins are listening to. And I do try and check for it. And I probably like more British stuff, so I know it's going to be controversial, but I'd rather listen to Stormzy than some of the stuff in America. I'd rather listen to, I'm trying to think of someone like Dave, you know what I mean? Or who's the guy who I can take or leave. Sometimes I've got Ocean Wisdom. You know what I mean? Some of it I can listen to and think it's good, and then other stuff I'm thinking, whoa. And another guy I've just discovered a few months back, I think just before Christmas, Bob Dylan.
All right.
I don't know if you've heard, is he called Bob Dylan? No, Bob Villain, sorry. Bob Villain. Yeah. Now, I think you might like him actually, because it's he mixes it with rock.
Right.
So he's got a bit of rock big rock rap, but then he also goes into a bit of grime as well. I'll send you a track by him after this, and I think you'll like it, because it's very guitar drum, very rock heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just getting back to the rock stuff as well. I mean, this is another artist that we've missed out completely, and that's Run DMC.
Yeah.
They're the godfathers of melding.
Rock rap. Rock rap.
Hip. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. We are down to your last album.
Right, here's the curveball.
Why is it a curveball?
Well, this is a bit further down the line with my hip hop journey.
It is.
Master Ace, Slaughterhouse. Now, I'd been through all the journey with NWA and Ice-T and Ghetto Boys and all the gangster stuff. And this came along and I'm like, whoa. I mean, Master Ace, his first album's just a world away from this. It's just straight down the line hip hop, and it's quite nice. But this has got some serious attitude about it. And it kind of pokes fun at the gangster thing as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does. It's there, isn't it? Murder, murder, murder. Kill,
murder, 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 kill, kill, kill. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, and but when them beats kick in, oh my days, there's some quality beats on this album, some
it's
great
really is.
rhymes, some great songs, and I can't pick fault with any of them. I can sit and listen to this album back to back all day, no doubt.
It's a funny one. Did you watch my 5 the other week, the American one?
No, I've missed it, mate.
Okay.
I've been meaning to catch up. I've been a bit busy, mate.
No, it's all right. It's there. It's there forever. Everybody's ready to watch it. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to listen to it. It's fine.
I've been meaning to get onto it only due to the fact I've been having discussions with a mate of mine, Simon, and we've been talking about stuff, and you know, I think he mentioned it. So yeah, it's on my list of things to do, Matt.
Okay. Because I picked one of his albums, and the interesting, obviously, debate we talked about with me and James, who helps us out with the Vinyl Vandals, a friend of ours. He pointed out the fact that a lot of people they tend to pick the first album by the group that they're picking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's the groundbreaking album, but like, obviously, like you've picked that album, and the album I've picked because I've picked the Master Ace album, and it's nowhere near his first album, because his first album, as good as it is, I don't think it's anywhere as good as like that album or the one I picked. I'm not going to say what it is, but you know, the one I picked, I just think he gets better and better. And he's, to me, so underrated, Master Ace. I think.
Oh yeah.
People don't talk about him enough.
Have you heard his last album, the Falling Season?
Yep. And also the one with Marco Polo. You heard that one?
Yeah. Brooklyn Story.
Brooklyn Story. Yeah.
Great albums.
Yeah. Definitely. Yes. So, what's my next question, Paul?
What's my favourite track on this album?
Yes.
Now, I'll tell you something, my favourite track isn't actually on this album because he did a remix of it.
I know which one you're talking about, yeah. Well, it's going to be off the album, though, so don't try and
It's going to
cheat.
be off the album.
Yeah.
Right, well, I'm going to go with Slaughterhouse.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Slaughterhouse. As much as I love G-Pass, I'm going to go with Slaughterhouse.
Okay.
Jack Be Nimble's up there.
Oh, Jack Be Nimble is class. Just the way it starts.
Yeah. And to me, I mean, he's done far better on that than what BDP did as well.
Yeah. But my favourite song off that album is Saturday Night.
Yeah. I do like that.
I just think it's absolutely tremendous. I still remember watching the video. I think it was on MTV, UMTV Raps. I just remember seeing the video and just thinking, who's this? This is class. And then not realizing, I actually know who it is. He just doesn't sound like he originally sounded, you know what I mean? Like, like on Take a Look Around, you know? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you compare any of this to like Music Man, it's just a complete world away.
Yeah, completely. So,
complete world away.
So you think about how many albums has he had out?
I've lost count.
I think I've got every single. I've got Take a Look Around.
Yeah.
I've got obviously that album there. I've got the Sitting on Chrome.
Yeah, Sitting on Chrome's a good album.
Disposable
I didn't
Arts.
really get on with it to start with as well. I didn't get
What's
on
that,
with
sorry?
Sitting on Chrome to start with.
You didn't get into it first?
No, it took me a little, took me a few spins to get me around that one.
Yeah, Disposable Arts, Brooklyn Story, Take a Look Around. I've said Take a Look Around. Son of Yvonne.
Yeah.
What's the one he's got? What Edo G? Got that one.
Yeah.
What's it called again?
Oh God, can't remember.
I think it's very similar to Art. A&E or something, is it called? Yeah. Is it called A&E? I think it's called A&E.
Yeah.
Remember?
Plus he made an appearance on the original Brooklyn Dodgers as well.
Yes. So I've got about 6 albums by him or something. I just think they're all tremendous, to be fair.
Yeah.
But not enough people talk about him. You're only the second person to have, obviously after me, to to have Master Ace, and I just find that I find it weird, but maybe it's just my tastes compared to other people's. I just thought more people would have picked them, but they haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice one. So we'll come to the ending. And that's been really, really interesting. Like your choices and some of your history there. Is there anything else that you've got that you're working on, or that you've done that you want to share with everybody?
Well, like I said, I mean, I've got the metal album, which is going to be coming out soon. I've got that EP, which is just dropping today, tomorrow. I've not got anything else in the pipeline. Not well. I'm hoping to have stuff in the pipeline, but it's just chatting to people and getting stuff off the ground. So
yeah, okay.
Invokal's very chatty about getting stuff done. I'm hoping Sam will get something started with the album soon.
Yeah,
because that's been locked away for too long. We need to unleash that on the world. I mean, one of the best comments I had about it was I played Sidewalks and Pavements to a mate of mine, and the first thing he said was, "Oh man, that sounds like Sons of Man, you know, the Wu-Tang Clan."
Right, okay, nice.
Yeah, that sounds like Sons of Man. It sounds like something that they would do, you know. It's got that real sort of like heavy beat that's just marauding. It just builds and builds. I'll send you a link for the video. So
all right, nice one. Yeah, that was going to be Mark's question actually. Have you got many videos, and who does your videos for you? Do you want to give them a shout out? Who do you?
I've 2 videos, and I've done them both.
You do them. You film them, do you?
I've filmed them. Well, yeah, I've filmed them. Yeah, filmed them and produced them.
Okay, nice one. Good stuff. Aye. Secret skills all over the place, eh?
yeah.
Wow. Okay, good stuff. All right then. Thanks very much for being on my show. Really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure, mate.
So what I'd ask you to do is your mission, if you choose to do it, is to get your album ready that you're going to bring out, your hip hop album.
Yeah.
Get your crew together, your couple of your guys that you're doing it with. Let me know when it's coming out. Before it comes out, come back on here, have a chat with me and the Vinyl Vandals. We'll have a chat about the album, and we'll obviously help you spread the word that it's coming out. By having you on the show to talk about it. And then also, if you can also go in your vaults and look at your favorite 5 UK.
Yeah, can do that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind as well doing the favorite 5 of something else for you as well, if that's possible.
Yeah, that's not a problem. That's definitely not a problem at all. Yeah,
outside of hip hop, because obviously there's a metal influence there, and there's the punk influence, and I've got various bits and pieces that people might be interested in.
Yeah, hey, we've said this from the start. Obviously, we started this, and Riddler was my first guinea pig that we did it on. I had this idea to just say, look, you know, I can't just sit here for, well, we thought we were going to be for a few weeks, didn't we? I can't just sit here and be locked. Facebook keeps throwing me off when we're trying to play live music and stuff. Can we do something that we'll talk about? We'll do what we do all the time when we're in the bar anyway. Or that album's good. No, that album's rubbish. I wouldn't listen to that. Why don't we record it on Zoom and just post it out there and you know, and let a couple of our friends have a look at it and see what they think. I think we get about 10 people. That's all we're aiming for. We've got a little bit more than 10 people, which is great. And I said I would keep doing them as long as like more than 10 people want to watch them. Do you know what I mean? As long as me, my dog, my best friend down the street, and my neighbour want to watch them, then I'm happy. It stops us getting bored. It keeps our mental health good, because our mental health's been suffering. Obviously, my mind has been anyway, and a couple of others in the crew.
I'll tell you something, mate. Not the only one, because like I said, I've been on furlough since March, and it's been tough. Been tough.
Yeah. And it's great when you've got something else to do, you know, like obviously I'll go to work, and I'm still going to work. Been working from home, but also going in the office a bit more recently. But it's not the same, because I also have other things, like, you know, I teach boxing, do karate, kickboxing, teach that. And when you can't do those things because it's been taken off you for a year, do you know what I mean? And then other things going on in your life, that's normally your therapy. And if you haven't got your therapy there, and you can't go in a bar or go to a gig, which is what other bits of therapy that we like to do, and you need something else to keep your mind active, which this is what we do it for, you know. And if everybody tuned, you know, like I say, if more than 10 people are tuning on Friday night, and then having a little live chat, because we'll have the live chat going on at the same time. I don't know if you've been into it. Have you been there into the live chats when we do it?
No, not yet.
So what we do is we broadcast at 8 o'clock on a Friday night, and as it's broadcast live, we have the live chat going on. People coming in, have a chat, you know, and it's nice. We've had Blade in there. We've had AJ from Hard Noise. We've had Mark from MCN from Caveman. We've had, you know, we've had all manner of people coming in there as well. You know what I mean? We've had Mercury from Gunshot in there. It's nice because obviously you're able to just talk to these people like you've got the records and stuff. We're also the same as everybody else, the hip hop fans, and it's nice to have that kind of conversation going on as well. Mr. Spice from the Brotherhood, they've all been in there having a chat as well. So you know, if you get a chance, please join in. You know. Yeah,
we'll do, mate.
Okay. Nice one. Okay, so we are the Vinyl Vandals. You've been listening to SystemATA talking about his favourite 5, talking a bit about his hip-hop history and about his hip-hop future. Thanks for tuning in. Salute to Julie, John and Riddler. I am a Vinyl Vandal. My name is King Fred. Peace.
Peace out.